Yvette Weinstein Hall, Vice Chair.
Has joined.
I now call the January 4th, I'm ahead of myself, 2024 Senior Citizens Advisory Board meeting to order. Has this meeting been properly noticed in accordance to open meeting law?
Yes, it has.
Thank you. Will the Deputy City Clerk call roll, please?
Chair Rear-Cameron,
Present.
Vice Chair Weinstein Hall,
Present.
Member Pataretu,
Present.
Member Galati,
Present.
Member Mosdeen,
Present.
Member Drum, excused, Member Lee,
Present.
Member Graham. Oh. Thank you, Chair. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Item number 3, public comment. Comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. If you wish to be heard, come forward and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited. Seeing and hearing none. Item number 4, for possible action to approve the final minutes by reference of the regular meeting of December 7th, 2023. Do I have any amendments or a motion?
Yvette Weinstein Hall, I move to accept the meeting, the minutes.
Of the December 7th, 2023 meeting, correct?
Correct, sorry. Yes.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Item number 5, discussion for possible action regarding reporting framework for the 2024 recommendations report. All wards.
Gregory Gray, Department of Neighborhood Services. So we had discussed this with the city attorney as well as the chair, and I know that there has been some expressions from the members themselves that wanting to be more active as a board and making sure that we are getting information and recommendations to our council offices and the mayor. So the recommendation from Jeff Dorkak was that when we do our meetings, at the end of those meetings, you guys would make recommendations to council based on the information that was provided, and then we will write that report up and email it to the council offices in addition to CCing the Senior Advisory Board. So that way council offices are aware of what is being discussed, what recommendations are being made, and they can make decisions based off of those recommendations. And then at the end of the year, they will get a comprehensive report that will basically reconcile all the information together in one report for them to review at their leisure. And that is up to you guys to discuss, like, you know, if that's something you want to do, if there's some amendments that you want to make. So this is this opportunity to have that discussion.
So does anybody have any feedback on what this reporting framework would be? In other words, we've had some discussions in the past. I'm so excited to see this on the agenda. As far as what we would like to see in this report. You know, we have obviously the meeting recorded, but we want to make a kind of an overview, and I would say put the top priorities that we all agree on. Should kind of be our framework in there that we're going to report to them, and Gregory, definitely some input.
I agree. I would definitely keep in mind that certain topics that you want to bring not only to the attention of the board, but also information that you feel that your council people should be aware of, and any topics that you suggest for future topics for the agenda will also be in consideration of that as well.
Is there anything specific that any of you here on the board would like to discuss? I mean, that's later on our agenda as well, but we have already had some topics that we've said.
I would probably save that for that
Yeah.
particular item, but if there's like any questions or any recommendations for like, you know, the format of a report, we could definitely entertain those ideas at this time.
Elizabeth Peterato, Ward 6, representing. Is this going to be ward specific, or is it a general thing we are going to send to the councilwoman or councilman representing?
Could you clarify that question for me?
For example, if I have seen an issue for Ward 6, when I'm bringing it to the board, and when we are making a recommendation, that is going to be only for the Ward 6, right? Like
Correct. So the topic will be discussed and decided upon the board as usual. What happens in a report is we basically provide a brief summary of what was discussed or what information was provided in the presentation, similar to the minutes, but we will also include basically a breakdown of each ward. Like Member Graham recommends this for Ward 1, Elizabeth, Member Patoratu for Ward 6 recommends this. In that respect. So you guys will also be CC'd on that email, so you will see that information that's being posted as well.
That's great information. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, Yvette Weinstein Hall. Ms. Pataruto and I are both at large, appointed by the mayor. So I go to other places other than Ward 2 when I'm healthy. So what I'm asking is, are we going to provide at each meeting what came up in a particular area of the ward, of the various wards, or are we giving a report saying that this is this area we think should be generally lose, like mentoring between, this is an example, mentoring between seniors and younger people, etc. Or reporting, like I go to Ollie and I have a report today about Ollie and what is available for active and inactive seniors, because it's done virtually as well as live classes. So that's my confusion.
So it would be different than your individual ward reports. Usually the topics that you guys are addressing as a board usually encompass all wards. So basically, yes, you are the representative of your ward, and and that report will be going to your council person. So I don't think that it would be, I know it sounds a little bit confusing, but I think it's pretty clear, like the topic that you're addressing and recommending on is all wards, and then anything specific to your ward would still be a part of your individual reports on the agenda.
And just to clarify, so this report, Deanna Rear-Cameron, is going to go out to the city council itself, but in this report we'll have some of the individual things that have been brought up that you've just mentioned with, their representative that brought it up. And then that way it's kind of like what we're doing already, where it's as a whole, but that it was concerns by those of us in the wards. Is that kind of how we're doing it?
For example, let's say, Member Galati brought up, voting. So what if Member Graham said, I would recommend Councilman Knudsen do some specific outreach events to provide information to seniors in regards to, voting, or even having someone go to, because he does a lot of senior events, so it's like a matter of maybe bringing a representative to the local community to inform them on, what their rights are as a voter, what their sample ballot would look like, stuff like that. I think that would probably be what that would look like in the report. So even if you guys echo each other's sentiments, and it would be formatted in such a way where it's like the board recommends that across all wards they do X, Y, and Z, if that makes sense.
Member Galati, I just wanted, you've covered all bases there. I just wanted to reiterate that basically individual issues within that board we should handle directly with the council person. I mean, bring it to, if it's something that pertains or it's obvious that it would cover all of them, then I could see it. I think that's what I'm seeing. And
Okay, Member Lee, is this something we would do every month?
Yes, you would.
Okay.
Nicole Graham with Ward 1. I think it's a great idea for us to bring this council, right? More communication, I think, is always key and helpful for all. I guess the question I would have is uniform, right? Making sure we all would have that same dialogue. So who would take those notes, making sure moving forward for each month, right? And making sure that communication is clear. So we're all commenting on the same, and it's a general overview, summary of our meeting is how I gather it to the council. It's just that summary overview, bit more so. So that would be, that we would prepare, or that be something prepared by?
So I would be the one to prepare the report for you. So I would use the minutes, I would take notes during the meeting, and then I would basically draft that email based off that information and be able to send that to the council offices, along with the senior advisory board and being copied on that.
I think it would be great. Yeah, I would have agreed to go forward, or motion, whatever that looks like, with doing those minutes and providing it for the council.
And before we go to a motion, I just want to make sure, is everybody okay and understand the framework that Gregory just discussed?
I know it's a little abstract, but I think that once you see it formatted,
Yeah.
it'll be a little bit more clear. And should you have any suggestions on how to better report moving forward from that point, those are definitely welcome, and we could definitely format the report to reflect those changes.
Any other questions or additions?
Okay, this is Yvette Weinstein Hall. Until I see this first report, I'm having problems with it. I don't know what the goal is. Okay, I understand that each ward has certain problems that we, as a board member, recognize and we report. Okay, I thought we were also going to be making some sort of a large recommendation and got it down to 5 different things that we're going to give to the board at the end of the year. Those also need to be discussed. Is that correct? I gave an example as to, I think mentoring is important between young and old. And I think that should be part of the 5 things at the end of the year that we talk about. So they're going to, when are we going to get to that point?
So that's the whole point of this particular item in this discussion. So does the board feel that pertinent to report every month, or would it be better to basically collect that information and then give it all at the end of the year? So it is not my prerogative to say what should be and what shouldn't be. I'm just making recommendations on my discussions with the city attorney and the chair. It is collectively up to you guys as to how you feel will be best to provide that information. So like Yvette is suggesting, perhaps as discussed before, it is probably better to collect that information, recommendations along the way, as a draft report that will then go out at the end of the year to mayor and council. If that, and is that correct, Yvette, just so I'm clear?
Yes, that's correct. And then I have no problem with you sending the report to each month about what we discussed, so they know we're doing something. So I have as long as we can cover both bases, because I think we haven't gotten to the point that we're narrowing down what we're going to present at the end of the year. I think it's important that we present what we've done each month and recognize that there's issues that are in our particular ward that the council people should also know about that.
I understand.
Okay, I understand, Greg, so I'm for it.
Okay.
Thank you. As long as we can do both.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. And just to be clear, so I know that Member Weinstein Hall has brought up seniors and mentoring youth. We have discussed that with our YDSI department. They are definitely open to providing a presentation on mentorship. So, for example, let's say we have Mr. Torrey come in and do a presentation on the My Brother's Keeper Alliance, which is a mentorship program that is run by the city. He would do his presentation. You guys would make your recommendations based off the information that he provided. And then as a report for the next summer, we could say, you know, oh, we got together with Gregory and the councilman's office or the councilwoman's office. We did an outreach event to bring mentor information to the community. So it doesn't have to just be recommendation. It could also be followed up with, this is what we recommended. These are the actions that have taken place since that recommendation. So you're not necessarily waiting for your council person to make a decision or get to council to make a decision. You're also saying like, okay, we made this recommendation. We got together with the appropriate department. We were able to provide an action or a resolution towards that recommendation, which would also, and so while that update may not be in that particular initial report for that month, they will see the follow-up in the next report, and then at the end of the year, they will see all the recommendations that were made, any type of actions or efforts that have taken place since those recommendations were made. Just to be 100% clear, and I hope that helps.
Yes, it does, Gregory.
I need clarification here, just slightly. If we do have, sometimes it can be quite lengthy, the recommendations, can they be in writing to you, or how do we do this, rather than presented when we have our meetings, because it takes time? And
I think you can definitely follow up on your initial recommendation at the meeting. Like if you feel like you have additional thoughts or recommendations that go along with the one you made during the meeting, you can absolutely follow up via email or in writing to say, I've thought about this more, I would like to add this to my recommendation, or you know, what have you. So even if you're following up on the email to council saying, these are my additional thoughts on my recommendation, you can do that as well. It's definitely to encourage communication with the board and council, and making sure that they're aware of the information and the efforts that are taking place through the Senior Advisory Board.
Deanna Weir Cameron, I think this is really great, because monthly we always have so many things, and always have, but haven't gotten past that. Sometimes it's because of turnover, sometimes, you know, there's a lot of ebb and flow. So I think if we're doing it monthly, but then we have the year end, which is kind of the big one, which is a culmination of what's been done, and maybe there's something that's still looming that hasn't been touched that we can, you know, bring. Because one thing I do know is when it comes to our older adults, everything is always ever changing, and it depends on, you know, the economy, it depends on so many things. So I think by doing it by both, that's a fantastic idea, and it's pretty much what we have spoken of. And I do love that, Yvette, at the end, you know, year end, you know, really focusing in on, you know, maybe just 5, so that we're not too all over the place, and doing an overview, as you just said, Gregory, and as you were talking about, Vito, doing an overview at the meeting so we don't get too lengthy. And then as you think of more details, you know, immediately jot those down. Oops, write those down, sorry. It's my country coming out. You know, write those down and then get it in that report, because we're all going to see it. And that way we see exactly what's going on, because I think sometimes by the time you get to the meeting and we're flowing, it can even be hard with those details, just because of there's so many. And we have talked about so many topics. And I think it'll be good, because we'll have the reports each month so that we can see where we're going. And I think the biggest thing that I really think will come of this is the communication with each of our council people, because I know that's something that has been a struggle in the past for some people. And I think that will help to garner that relationship a little more. And sometimes they're hard to catch up with. They have very busy schedules, as do some of us, so I think that'll help too. But once again, does everybody understand what's being proposed? I want to make sure we get all our questions in.
One thing came to mind, I mean, it's new to us most probably is that sometimes there'll be duplication, and I think will be a bad idea to contact you because you might be hit with 3 of the same thing, so maybe should be brought up in a group that we touch base on certain areas, and then if we want to add to it or whatever, directly deal with our concerns. But this way we're on the same page on some of these issues. I'm trying to make it easier for you also.
It is never a bother to me. It's my job. I'm happy to help in any way that I can. I know that from our discussions with the city attorney as well as the chair, this is a way to prevent duplication. So basically it is a report to keep our mayor and council informed of what we're doing, but it also gives you guys a running report as well to know what was discussed, what was recommended, you know, or even being able to bring up in a meeting like, hey, we recommended this, there hasn't been any action taken place, is there an update on this, or can we expand on this particular issue, or we recognize that the community is very vocal about one particular issue that we brought up before, maybe we should expand on that more. We have the entire year before us, and you know, I would say like maybe midway through the year, we can, you know, basically have a review of the report for the past 6 months or so, and be able to have discussions based off that as well. So it provides a variety of opportunities available to the board, as well as a way for us to better implement efforts through senior services and through Department of Neighborhood Services. So I think that it basically sets you guys up for success in the best way possible.
Yes, Member Lee, I agree with that because on a yearly basis, some of the issues may need to be addressed before, you know, the year is up. So if we could do, you know, a 6 month, 3 months, I think that would be good.
Member Petretto, I agree with Member Lee. Like we can have a project plan for a year, but also it has to be, if we can break it down on a quarterly basis or something, because there are some needs to be done before the end of the year. For example, tax is coming, people need help in that. Then the election is coming, we need there. So if we can coordinate our council people how to help the seniors to get into that, and then of course we can have a long-term a project which will be going along with that, but we had our short-term goals. We can check whether we are on target or we are making it. And also, when I visit the senior centers, they have small needs, and that is not met. Very small, absolutely for me, it is easy, but when it comes to action, that has to go through a few steps. And that is delaying, and these people are getting frustrated. They are not communicated that, okay, it is in action, it's going to happen, and then that assurance is not there. So these people are getting little confused. So my goal is visiting them, hearing from them, and meeting with the councilwoman and getting back with them and talking. That is happening recently, but that's not enough. They are not satisfied. They are not seeing our face that often. So that is my opinion.
Yeah, Deanna Rick Cameron, that's exactly what the monthly report is. It's like a monthly report, and it's not just a report, it's so that we can continue to track and reflect on. Because one of the things that we've noticed is a lot of the things that get brought up are things that were already addressed prior, and sometimes even settled, but then brought up again, or brought up and not attended to. So monthly would be almost like your action report, like you're talking about, Elizabeth. And then obviously the year-end review and recommendations, the bigger ones based on things that we've seen looming in that monthly, as well as I love the idea of doing a 6-month progress report. So it's kind of like the progress that we're making so that we don't lose sight of the action steps. But I do know that doing it monthly, if we all commit to making sure when that goes out to the council, we are also looking at our monthly report that we've done and looking at least our part, if nothing else, and making sure that we are attending to that, addressing it with Gregory, because he knows the different departments from within, you know, in just seconds that he can go to discuss it, and then we can get the feedback and then bring that feedback up at the meeting that, hey, this has happened. And also that way it'll go into our monthly report for the next report to the council that, yes, these steps were taken and this action was taken, or that this is still needs to happen. So I think that's kind of like where the monthly would go and keep us all on task, as well as our council people, because each city council meeting, I try to follow them as much as possible. There are so many things on that agenda that actually will make change for our older adults, whether good or bad. And so it's important that we are fresh in their minds for our, senior citizens, our older adults, for every decision they make. And the easiest way to be fresh in their mind is to be in this summary, so to speak. That's kind of what this is. And have it there, because then they can be thinking about that when they have these decisions. And maybe if you get the time, kind of look at the agenda and see if there's anything that's going to affect older adults in your ward that you can even bring at the meeting or to Gregory, so that we can be just a little bit more in communication, bringing the bridge together between it all.
And just to add on to that, Madam Chair, it's a lot of information to take in one day and then have the rest of the month to either think about it or forget it. So I think that the report will be a great way to, refresh your memory on what was discussed previously. And it's also an opportunity for you to be able to, what was I going to say about, don't want you to forget, it's a lot of information. And this is a living, breathing document. So, Nicole may not want to, she may not have thoughts immediately. So maybe her suggestion is like, as much as I like the recommendation report, maybe better to have those recommendations before we get into the next topic on the next month's meeting. That way you're able to gather your thoughts, you're able to digest information. So, it's something that is living, breathing, it's a work in progress. We will definitely be mindful of it moving forward. We'll improve it as we go along. So I definitely think that this will be a great move for the board to make.
Yvette Weinstein Hall, Gregory and the board, I agree with you. And it will give, so we don't have a duplication during the meetings about what I did or what Vito did or, et cetera, et cetera. I just want to make sure that there'll be follow-up on because I've asked for various things from Ward 2 and some of the others, and nothing has been followed through. I noticed there was an active senior citizen thing for like Doolittle, et cetera, but those are active people. They're, a lot of it is 50, maybe 50 and 60, but is there something that would address those people that are shut in, that can't get around, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's great that the city has that at those senior citizen centers, but not all of us are as active as we once were. Okay, that's just my opinion. Thank you, but I agree with what you say, Greg. Thank you.
I just had a comment, Vito Galati, Ward 2. I think we should still proceed in discussing issues here. I'm not saying that we don't, but I have a feeling will be a good venue to find commonalities before, again, and a lot of them can be solved here by sharing information, because what we think is novel to us might not be in another ward and might have some feedback. So I'm just saying that maybe we should be a little bit more proactive in discussing certain issues that come up and sharing, if there is any sharing to be done at that point. And then if we find that it has to go beyond that, because it might be resolved at that point. One ward might have resolved the issue, whether it would be traffic, whether it would be sanitation, and so that it reduces the amount of suggestions that go to you.
I understand. So I'm going to get them regardless. I think that that's probably the best way to say it. Even if you report it to your individual council people, they're calling us already to let us know that you have brought it to their attention. So even issues that go before Deanne, Councilwoman's office is bringing it down to Department of Neighborhood Services. So like I said, it's my job. I'm happy to help. I don't think the report will necessarily eliminate those individual issues. That's not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to make you guys a singularity. That's not what we're trying to do. You guys will still be reporting on those individual issues that you see in your ward, and you guys will be able to have those discussion with the board as a whole to say, like, oh, Vito, I have this recommendation from my ward, or have you tried this? So we'll still have those discussions as part of your individual reports. What we're saying is that when we have our presentations, when we have our speakers from various organizations and departments, we will be reporting that information as well as your thoughts and recommendations based on the information that was provided in that presentation, not necessarily your individual ward reports. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, Deanna Rear Cameron, so the only thing this is going to do, Vito, it's in addition to. So we will still be having our discussions so that we all discuss the concerns and everything together. And then this is kind of a report in addition to, and actually in our bylaws and everything too, it says that we'll do a report to them. So this is moving us forward into where we really want to be and what we've discussed. And the reason it's in addition to is because then we literally have it written up in a general form, these recommendations, and then also it's easier to track for all of us. So we're not having to go back and listen to the meeting, look at our notes. It will literally be in a summary report form by Gregory so that we can look at it and then we can discuss it. And by the fact that it's going to come in by email to all of us, if we just hit reply all on these things that we know have been discussed and it's in more than one ward, or even if it's only in your ward, it could happen in another ward. We're still one big city, you know, and typically what happens on the west side is going to be 2, 4, and 6. What happens on the east side is going to be 1, 3, and 5. But then there's going to be all of us as a whole. So I think all this is really what we've been discussing is in addition to make it better communication and to move us forward into the steps we've always wanted to take. And for us to be able to make recommendations, we need to start by doing these monthly reports and start seeing what our communication is, even with our own council person. You know, because that's very important, right? If you want to get something done in your ward, it's important that you have that relationship, and this is an easier way to do it by email with everybody's, you know, busy schedules, and so that they are on the same page and see what you're doing. And once again, anytime something comes up for them, or even at an event, it's going to help that whole relationship and all of us working together instead of just in our wards. Now we're going to be more cohesive, and we actually have the report to go back on. So now and we can help each other. We're only an email or a phone call away and say, didn't we talk about that in a meeting? And we can help each other look up what meeting that was. That's not a problem. You know, we just can't have a quorum outside of it doing all that kind of stuff just to be safe. But that's just it, you know, build. And this being in addition to, I really look forward to it because there's sometimes I can't remember what meeting. It could have been 5 years ago for me. And then my mind starts getting, you know, tilt, right? So having it fresh at the beginning of the year like this and starting to put it together and doing it as an addition to the discussions, those discussions will go in that report as an overview. And then we make sure that we look at that report when we get it and what action can I take with council person or with Gregory to see if that's been addressed yet. Because he gets busy as well. He has a lot of emergency stuff that come up, just like last week when I called him. I mean, we had an emergency, you know, with a situation. So it's things like that, and I think that'll help us all to follow up on all of the things that we're recommending. And I think that's all this is a tool to help us follow up and to have better communications with our council.
Yvette Weinstein Hall, I agree with you immensely. You and I have been on this board for going on 8 years, and finally we're getting to the point of, with new members coming in, et cetera, that we're going to be able to do this. So I'm very pleased about that for both reports. Okay? Thank you. We've been here. We're getting older and older as we sit here, aren't we?
Wait a minute.
Council Chairman, thank you.
I know, I'm like, wait a minute, wait. Since I've been on this.
Member Mosdeen?
Yes.
Member Mosdeen, I have actually been listening, even though I haven't been speaking in, but I have been listening attentively, and I am in 100% agreement with the direction things are taking. So you don't need to hear me say that. So I'll be ready to vote.
Okay, so that being said, Gregory, should we do a motion today in Val? Just to make sure that we are moving forward with it.
I think that helps. You should make sure that everybody, both here and on the phone, understand what that motion is and what it entails. But I think, I assume that the discussion that's just been happening will sort of fill in the gaps if necessary.
So, do we have a motion for this report that we are now going to move forward with the framework that we've discussed of a monthly report that will be done showing our recommendations that we can track and follow, and then also a 6-month progress report and review, and then with a final year-end review and recommendations for anything that is still looming or has newly come up? Do I have a motion?
I support. I agree with this.
Nicole Graham with Ward 1. I agree. I also second that.
Okay,
Motion.
so we just need someone to make the motion. Yvette, do you want to make the motion for us?
No, I'll start coughing. Can you please? let Ward 1 do it. Or 2, or whatever. Thank you.
Nicole Graham with Ward 1, motion to approve, approve the report framework to council in for
Yes, for 2024.
2024.
Perfect.
As described by the chair.
As described by the chair.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? So moved. Item number 6, report by Gregory Gray, Management Analyst 1, Department of Neighborhood Services regarding senior issues received by the Department of Neighborhood Services. All wards.
Gregory Gray, Department of Neighborhood Services. I want to take this opportunity to introduce the board to our senior services professional, Olga Flowers. So Olga Flowers joined us in the past couple of weeks. She's been working with us to work with seniors. She is previously from the Boys and Girls Club. She was an administrative program assistant there. And she joined us not too long ago, and she has been eager to help seniors, so we're definitely getting her brought up to speed and getting her on board. So I just wanted to have her come up, and if you could just introduce yourselves to her, that'd be great.
Hello, welcome. I'm Nicole Graham. I'm with Ward 1. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Paterito, Ward 6. Welcome. Thank you for your service.
Hi, Olga. You already know me. Ward 4, welcome. We are so excited to have you. This is a very big day for us. Thank you.
And Yvette Weinstein Hall, I am thrilled that you are joining the city and helping Gregory out, especially with your background in Boys and Girls Club, which I think would be very important for the mentoring between seniors and the Boys and Girls Club, etc. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. Thank you.
Peter Galati, Ward 2, welcome. Hopefully Gregory's a great mentor, and I'm sure he'll be a great resources. And I'm sure there'll be challenging times, but you will get all the help you can.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Charles Lee, Ward 5. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Nice meeting you all. Looking forward.
Caroline Mosdeen, Ward 6. Welcome, Olga. It is wonderful to have just heard your name. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person, but you are going to have some wonderful mentorship from Greg and the rest of the staff. I know that they work tirelessly to assist every resident of the city, and it's wonderful to have you join that group. And the very best of luck to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So just to add on to my report, we've been getting a number of calls from seniors that are facing issues. I know I probably said this before, where they're facing issues with increases in utilities. So they're seeing an increase in their gas and their electric. And so we had a gentleman reach out to the mayor's office to express his concerns regarding his gas bill going up on a fixed income, not necessarily able to afford it, having to choose between food and utilities, which is a tough choice to make, and a senior should never be put in that position. So we are currently working to get some more information as far as energy assistance programs, equal pay programs. Our shift team is going to be reaching out to him to see if they can make an appointment to go out to his home, see if it's properly weatherized, as well as get him connected to any additional services that the home may need. And then from there, Olga will be reaching out to him to make sure he is aware of the services and resources that are available to him. And if he is unable to navigate that, we'll make an appointment with him to be at one of our local senior centers, and we will assist him from there. The tax utility rebate program is coming up. So for seniors that are over 60 and make less than $16,500 qualify. If you are married, you have to make less than $18,900 annually. You will need to bring a copy of your 2023 NV Energy, Southwest Gas, and CenturyLink or Cox Communications telephone bills, your photo ID, proof of income, proof of bill payment, and other supporting documents to fill out the application. So if you need to make an appointment, you can contact Centennial Hills Active Adult Center, Doolittle Active Adult Center, Dula Community Center, East Las Vegas, and Howard Lee Burns Senior Center. If you need more information on that, you can always give me a call, 702-229-6690, and we'll get that information to you. And that's all I have to report.
Gregory, just a question. Is that information or some of it on the utility bill or what accompanies it? I think it is. I'm not sure. Maybe you...
I'm not 100% sure. This was an article that came from News 13. I will definitely make sure I forward this copy to the board as a whole.
Caroline Mosdeen, Ward 6. Yes, I did see it in my utility bill. I have gotten it in several of my utilities having to do with both water and electric and gas. And now, of course, water, sewer, and trash are going up as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they have to say. But yes, we need to keep our seniors advised of all of these increases, but more importantly, of ways that they can mitigate some of the excess costs.
Thank you. Item number 7, report by board members regarding senior issues and events within their council wards and at large, all wards. And for ward number 1, we have Nicole.
Hello, Nicole Graham with Ward 1. Events for this month, nothing that I can report on currently. Yeah, the holidays just ended. 'Tis the new year. I know we ended the year with Ward 1 with councilmen with going to the different senior centers and serving food, which was great. Great event, great outturn with the support. Looking forward to 2024 and other events supporting. Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ward 2, we have Vito.
Yes, I had the monthly meeting with the councilwoman at the Veteran Memorial. Again, it's always a wonderful opportunity to speak with the councilwoman, but also with the Las Vegas Police Department representatives and the marshals and other organizations that attend as citizens. I also, as a follow-up, I believe I had mentioned my concern was with markings on the local streets, primarily the ones in the lakes area, which is about 4 to 5 miles of cyclable routes, and they were completely faded. And I had originally approached the councilwoman, and in which case they contacted Department of Highways, and they did some of it, but I realized it wasn't enough. So at that point, I tried to reach out and get some information from the Department of Highways as far as guidelines. How often would these be done? And to my best knowledge at that point, I had to contact Reno because I had seen on the website bicyclenevada.com, which actually is Department of Transportation. I left a message, no one picked up, but I was referred then to locally to right here in City Hall to Leo Grimaldi, which is the engineering project manager. And at that point we had a conversation, and I said I just wanted to know how often these are done, and I really didn't get an answer for that. I don't think, according to our conversation, there is a schedule. Usually it's done when the streets are repaved, and that could be anywhere, 10 years. That was the situation by me. I realized that if you do it after the repaving, it's more costly, so they try to do it all at once, my assumption. But in any event, it was good to talk to her, because after that I explained, I sent another detailed request to the councilwoman explaining exactly what had to be done with the map of the area, but I also did the same with the representative at the highway department, and I indicated that there are schools there, and the signs are hardly can be seen, the crossing signs, but also the bicycle paths. And during warm weather, the parents do ride tricycles, or they put the kids in the back and so forth. I think it's a dangerous situation not to have those signs. Psychologically also, it slows down, and there is an issue on one of the lakes, the streets, Lake North, that is supposed to be 35 miles an hour. I've seen up to 65 miles an hour going from one end to the other. Very dangerous. And that is also the drop-off and pickup point for students busing and walkers to the elementary school. So it's actually something that has to be addressed. I discussed all of that. I did get a follow-up yesterday from a colleague of the person at the highway department, Sean Robinson, and said that they were working on those also. I noticed this morning that they had done the school signage on the bicycle paths. But broadly speaking, I think this is a concern throughout Vegas. I checked on the website. Again, it says that Vegas is one of the exemplary bicycle cities, and you do see it. I've seen it on Wallapai. They have and if you look on the bicycle path, they have a double line and then the bicycle path to prevent it as a buffer zone. It's not the best. The best would be that to have cars parked and then the bicycles, but then that would be dangerous here in Vegas. So I'm going to update the councilwoman on that and make some more suggestions, because primarily it's not just about bicycling. The people that in that area, and I'm sure there are others, they're walkers. I notice only one side has the sidewalk, the other one doesn't. So they either will go on the parking lane to walk, which they do, definitely not on the bicycle because there are people walking there. But again, to remind, when cars are coming at 55, 60 miles an hour, it could be very dangerous. And at least if we have the lines, might warn them not to cross those lines. So if you have the same situation in your area, I think you should check it out and see and bring it to the councilperson's attention. Perhaps a joint venture on this, Department of Highways will visit more often these situations. I will have a meeting with the councilwoman, as I said before. Other than that, my concern is focused on that, and it's basically on the seniors, and it's on prevention, and because we all benefit by safety. We realize how dangerous it can be just across the streets. Now, riding a bike could be double as dangerous. Thank you.
Thank you. Also with Ward 2, we have Yvette.
Yes, and I'm also at large, so I go around to some other wards as well. I was appointed by the mayor. Anyway, I have a question. Is the monthly senior letter, City of Las Vegas, that sends out a senior newsletter, are those senior newsletters posted at each center so individuals can read it? Some people don't have a computer or have the ability to get a copy of this City of Las Vegas Seniors newsletter. In that newsletter, it clearly states, talking about utility tax through a rebate, it clearly sets out what is necessary. But I think that should be posted to each center. Also up in Ward 2 as well. I have a report about OLLI, which is the adult education. They're having an open house January 22nd from 10 to noon. And they're also doing a virtual class where you can go on your computer and watch what's happening. And that will be on January 24th, 2024. At their open house meeting, you would go that the to Nevada Senior Services are going to offer free vaccinations for COVID-19, flu, shingles, pneumonia, RSV. There's no charge for registration, and a medical record is required. So that will take a proactive thing for a healthier 2024 for people. And again, with Polly, I counted, and I think it's a great way for seniors to remain active. There are classes that talk about Medicare and how to enroll if you're having problems with Medicaid, etc. Also, there's the website that I have to look it up. If you could bear with me for a minute. I just had a senior moment. Pardon me. Well, I'll provide that for the minutes at a later time. There are lawyers available in Nevada that will help seniors with problems regarding Medicare, Medicaid, living expenses, etc. It's very confusing sometimes to navigate the Medicare, Medicaid, and it would be specific to the state of Nevada. We've also had presentations made by that as well. And so that is the report that I have. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ward 4 is myself. I have an echo. I don't know where that came from. So we have several events coming up. In Ward 4, we have the Sun City Document Shredding Event, January 6th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Mountain Shadows Clubhouse on Del Webb, and there's a limit of 5 boxes or bundles per car, and the volunteers are going to unload your car, and the shredding services will be available until the truck capacity is reached. But you do need to come by vehicle. There's no walk-up shredding. And then also for everyone, we have in our ward Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, and that is with the Las Vegas City Council and of course Councilwoman Frances Allen Polanski. That is in our ward at Police Memorial Park on Metro Academy Way on Cheyenne, and that is Saturday, January 6th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. I have been to these annually, and it is really nice to have appreciation for the very people who are keeping us safe in the community, and especially for all of us over 55 that seem to be getting hit with so many scams right now. And they're going to have food trucks, music, games, vendors, and then they have the police and military unit displays. And it's really just nice because you get to connect. They all have different tables, and you get to connect with all the different branches of appreciation. And I think it's just a really great event for everyone to get out to. And then I do want to bring up one that's February 17th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., and that's Ward 4 and 6, Love for All Pickleball, because they want you to get registered ahead of time. And luckily in February in Vegas, our weather definitely starts getting better, so that's a really good time. It's a way to stay active and get out of the house. And you can get more information on that on the Ward 4 and 6 websites or at the Durango Hills Community Center, YMCA. That is actually where it's going to be happening. And you can also get the information from the Ward 6 Centennial Hills Adult Center on registering. We have been asked to be a part of the Sun City Resource Fair, Gregory and myself, and the council office. We had a first Tuesday a couple months ago, and directly after it, they asked us to have a table there so that we can just meet everybody and discuss any of their needs, which is wonderful because anytime you can just get out and meet the very people that we serve, it's always a good thing. And then there's also an event that I am involved with, January 11th, which is next Thursday. That is a fantastic event. Matt Paxton from PBS, he's kind of a celeb on PBS with a show called Legacy List. And he's also formerly of Hoarders, which is actually one of the challenges we do have with some older adults here. And he is having people bring something from home, and then he goes over the legacy behind it. So he helps get the story behind it, which is great. And I do know that several communities are talking about bringing some of their 100-year-olds as some of their things. So I just think that's such a great event for everyone. It's at the Dula Community Center, January 11th, Thursday, a week from today, 6 to 8 p.m. And there will be several resource tables as well, just to get various information. And of course, I will be there, and any of you from the board are welcome to come so that we can just kind of meet and greet older adults and their families. And if you want to help get the word out, I have information on that. I'm very happy because with Ward 4, one of the people that work with Councilwoman actually lives in Sun City. So it's nice because we have, that connection there. And I'm happy to say that they're very active at taking the calls and getting them through to Gregory and myself. And also I am myself personally getting the same thing. Thank you for addressing it, Gregory. These utilities, and I'm seeing it in the Nextdoor app for my area. It's really, really bad, and now I'm listening and seeing people posting that they're having to make decisions, here we go again, between, their housing, their prescriptions and healthcare, and now their utilities. So I definitely see that being something that we try to look at, anything we can do to get relief and get the information out there to them for that relief. And that's it for my ward report. I'm going to wrap it up there. And now we have Ward 5, Charles.
Hi, last meeting I had addressed about restriping in Ward 5 there, and it was a busy month for me, so some of the things I couldn't get to. And within the next 2 weeks, I'll have it over to Gregory, the streets of concern. And also, I found out that we have a solar company that's been going around in Ward 5, and I think they're targeting the the seniors. And they're saying that if they allow them to put solar on, the installation and the panels are free and they are paid through the city. And I have the card here, from the company. And they say that the city is taking care of everything and, the person don't have to pay anything. So. Okay. That's about it for me. Yeah.
Perfect, thank you. And we have from Ward 6, Caroline Mosdy.
Caroline Modestine, thank you very much, Chairman. A few things that are coming up, just as reminders to people, is the Martin Luther King Parade is going to be on January 15th at 1 p.m., starting from downtown Las Vegas. It's always a wonderful get-together and tribute to Martin Luther King. So, we also had, I'm trying to go through the new things, and thank you, Deanne, for mentioning the Love for All pickleball. Hopefully lots of people will be attending that. The next meeting with our Ward 6 Councilwoman Bruni is next Thursday on January 11th at the Centennial Hills Y. There's going to be a Kyle Canyon virtual workshop, which is very important for the growing area at Kyle Canyon. And it's asking people, the residents, and even residents from all over Ward 6, what they'd like to see up at the Kyle Canyon, at the Kyle Canyon area. Reminder, we spoke about this last month, that there's free microchipping for pets at the Animal Foundation, and it's going to be necessary starting August 1st that all pets, cats and dogs over the age of 4 months that reside in Las Vegas, that they are microchipped. So to schedule an appointment for that, it's www.animalfoundation.com, and that'll get a registration in for that. And I think that's all I have for events, but there is one thing has to do with something we spoke about last month. I'm still trying to work on the AARP tax scheduling. It's still a problem. I'm still having trouble reaching the proper people, and I'll be checking in with Gregory on that, what he has on that, because we're still having some trouble here in Ward 6 to get those, get prepared for the appointments for the tax scheduling. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And also with Ward 6, we have Elizabeth.
Elizabeth from Ward 6. I had the privilege of meeting with most of the seniors at the senior center and was able to serve the lunch for the seniors. It was a great event, and some people from the city also was there along with the councilwoman. That went well, and the rest of the things Caroline already discussed. We will be meeting with the councilwoman and to making sure that the seniors are getting enough assistance towards the tax preparation. And they have some small issues inside the center, seniors having some furniture issues or whatever, but it was taken care then and there, so they were happy for a minute, but we will be checking with them again. That's it for now.
Thank you. Item number 8, discussion for possible action regarding next steps and future meeting topics for the Senior Citizens Advisory Board, all wards. I know we have a running list.
Yvette Weinstein Hall. The National Center of Law and Elder Rights is the information that I wanted to give you. I know the chair is familiar with that. I tell these webinars that they have monthly, which talking about Social Security, fraud, everything that would affect a senior. So that is a great resource to ask for. I had a question. Is the city senior magazine is that posted in all the senior citizen centers so that the seniors can see that? Because that report clearly showed what was needed for the utilities. And I get that every month. So Gregory, can you find that out for me?
Absolutely, I'll double check that for you.
Okay, and any other thing that reflects seniors. Those things should be posted as well. Not everybody gets on the internet or to get registered to get that information. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any discussion for future meeting topics that we have not already mentioned in the last couple meetings?
I would also say that in reflection of the new recommendation report, it probably does change some of the topics you want to bring to the board. Mm-hmm. So, definitely even if they're duplicate ideas, please feel free to repeat them if you feel that they're important enough to bring to the board, have a presentation or a speaker on, because as I said, we will be reporting these to council, so just want to keep that in mind.
Does anybody have any future meeting topics for today?
Nicole Graham, Ward 1. I don't have any future topics, but curious, is there a way to get an overview of all those current? I know I came late into joining the Senior Citizen Advisory Board, so I just would like to see what those current topics are, if we can get an overview. Maybe that's where we start with this report, is that?
Yes, I'll email them out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Gregory, will you be giving me some feedback on that solar information?
Yes, I reached out to Mr. Mundy. I'm sending an email out right now, so as soon as I get some more information, I will share that with you.
Thank you.
Yvette Weinstein Hall, again, that solar stuff is rampant in all neighborhoods. I mean, they knocked on my door and presented cards, and I turned them away because I don't think it's legitimate. And again, fraud is everywhere on your computer, on telephone calls, et cetera. We're inundated with that. You need to keep your computers up to date with the latest software. You can get hacked, and I've gotten hacked in my lifetime, so we need to all be careful, and that's something that we should discuss at the various senior citizen centers that we go to. Thank you.
Does anyone have anything else? I think it'll be easier when we get that running list too, so we can all go back over it and make sure where we're at. Thank you for doing that, Gregory. Item number 9, citizens' participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the board. No subject may be acted upon by the board unless that subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, come forward and give your name for the record. The amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited. Seeing and hearing none, our next Senior Citizens Advisory Board meeting is on February 1st, which is a Thursday, 2024, 1 p.m. here at City Hall. We are now adjourned.